Welcome, gentlemen, to another video that I'm creating for you, for your entertainment. Well, for mine as well, because I'm just a very bored person and I want to talk about Rainbow Six Siege, but that's not important. The important part is I'm making it for you because I love you more than anything. So you should be grateful and subscribe and leave a like on this video because I will rape you otherwise. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about 5 things I'd like to see in Rainbow Six Siege. In the following years, I like to see certain things come to Rainbow Six Siege, and I truly hope they might. I think all of the things I list off in this video, I'm going to give you 5 things that I'd like to see, but I think most of the things I list off in this video for sure will at some point in some sort of version come to Rainbow Six Siege. So let's get started with number one. Number one, I want to see more attachments. Now, currently, we really don't have a big variety in attachments. Sights, I don't think we're going to get more sights, honestly. I really don't, because of the fact that the sights are pretty well balanced as is. You're kind of picking, do you want a small view angle so you can see around yourself, or do you want more area of zoom? That's kind of your options. Those are kind of your options. You can pick between, a reflex that has a very small, magnification size, but you can see everything around it. With the hollow and red dot, you get a lot less surrounding because of the casing so big, but a bit more of the magnified area. So I don't think we're going to be getting more sets, because if they introduce, for example, like just a red dot from Call of Duty, the ones that have really thin outlines, everyone's going to pick that because it just has a small housing, gives you a lot of area of zoom. They can't add a hammer scope, the scopes where you have, for example, a holographic and then you switch over and it gives you extra magnification, because that's just broken. Everybody would use that. There just really isn't many things that they could do with scopes. So I don't think we're going to be getting many scopes. We might get variations on the scopes we have, for example, with different reticles and things like that. But I don't think we're going to be seeing new attachments. I think that's just a bit too far-fetched. But I don't think it's too far-fetched to assume that we could get different attachments, under barrel or instead of the laser sight. I think that's completely understandable. In Outbreak, we saw the flashlight. We had a flashlight. Why couldn't we get that in multiplayer? Now, I realize that it might not be as useful in multiplayer, and hell, it wasn't even that useful in Outbreak. But on darker maps, it might give some use. It could blind enemies like it does in Battlefield when you're using the flashlight. It could have certain uses, and I think having a replacement for the laser sight is something that they would probably come out with pretty quickly if they were focusing on attachments, because a lot of people either just use the laser sight or don't, and it depends on your personal preference. Do you mind possibly being spotted by the enemy because of your red dot? It really is a personal preference. I sometimes use it depending on how high the fire rate of the gun is, which operator I'm playing. For example, on Jackal's submachine gun, I always run it, but on other operators, I just don't. Now, other options that we could have is, for example, a bipod on the underbarrel of your gun instead of, a foregrip, which I don't think we would see being used much, but it's something that could come to the game. I don't think we're going to see also very much variation there, because what could they give us? A grenade launcher? They're not going to put that in. That's just broken. Uh, what else could they put in? Another red dot? Like, really, what are you going to put? There's not much that you can put on. Uh, Same with, muzzle brake, flash hider, or silencer. What are you going to give us? Um, you could possibly give us some sort of different kinds of compensators that do different kinds of things, but I don't think we're going to see that. I think primarily what we're going to see is a replacement for a laser sight, and I'd like to see something that they could come up with, so something in between the flashlight, a flicker flashlight that just flashes really quickly, that'd be pretty cool. That could be, for example, that could be a gadget that an operator has. He can equip this flicker flashlight, turns it on, and it just flickers really fast, and it's kind of like a stun grenade. It lasts for 4 seconds, just flashes really violently and quickly. That could be a cool attachment idea. Or the bipod idea, but I have the bipod idea. I have applied for something else in this list, so we're gonna get to that, and it perfectly ties in actually with the second spot. So let's get into the second thing I'd like to see: a complete Tachanka rework. I'd like to see Tachanka rework because currently he's basically the biggest joke of an operator we have in this game. He's just not used in any way, shape, or form. He just doesn't work as an operator. No one really plays him seriously, at least. He's become a meme. And whilst that's kind of funny, haha, we have Tachanka God, that's all cool and funny, and I like the memes, but I'd like to see the operator actually being used and have the fair treatment like everyone else. Now, I know it's very difficult to balance an operator like that because his whole playstyle is about staying in one position, and in this game that gets you killed quite often. But I have an idea for his rework that I think would be pretty dope. So listen to this. He keeps his original kit. He has his submachine gun and he's got his pistol. The only difference is his unique ability, the one that you press the middle mouse button or whatever your button is for using the gadget that the operator has. He pulls out a LMG, the same LMG he has on the turret, but with no stand. There's no more turret that you set up. He just pulls it out. It has a bipod on it, and as he walks, he can hold the button or click it again next to cover, and very quickly, within less than a second, half a second, he puts down the bipod and rests on the cover, right? He can crouch and rest on cover. He can stand on cover and set up. When he is in this position where he's standing with the bipod, lowered and looking down his sights, his recoil is, reduced by 80-70%, right? Like a finger boost. Like it practically has no recoil and does incredible damage, right? And if he wants to get off of it, he just quick clicks the button, and in less than a second, again, he pulls it off and he can walk around normally. Now, I think this is a great rework because it gives him some mobility, so he can, move around and not, just get grenaded out or just get, pre-fired, because he can very quickly, switch positions. The bipod will switch in and out very quickly. But not only that, but he has a lot of power. He can hold out a tight angle and have no recoil. He can hold out an entire area because he just doesn't have much recoil. I'd lose the shield, of course, because then it would be completely broken. But I think this would be a solid buff to Tachanka that would actually make him, kind of viable. It would allow him to move around. It would allow him to use his LMG and still keep that playstyle where he's supposed to hunker down and hold down an area. He'd be a great anchorer. Though I see a problem in which he could be a very good spawn peeker with this, so I would not let him rest his LMG on windows, for example, so that he can't, abuse the spawn peek like that. But I don't think it would be completely broken because he could only use his iron sights. He couldn't equip any attachments to it. It would have a good bit of, reload time. It's just, it wouldn't be broken in my opinion. I think it would be a very well balanced kind of rework for him. Another thing that I'd like to see buffed on him is the destruction ability of his LMG. I'd buff that. For example, if you look at his operator video, he destroys like concrete fucking pillars, and in the game he struggles to open up, a wooden wall. So I make sure that every 2 shots, pretty much tears up almost an entire hole in a wall. That would be pretty cool to see. All right. The next thing, and number 3 on this list that I'd like to see introduced into Rainbow, which we most likely won't be seeing, but I'd really love to see it, is a night map. Now, I know what you're saying. A night map, that's kind of stupid because, well, we have an operator that, has thermal vision, glass. That's completely broken. I don't think it would be broken because I don't want to make the map a long-ranged open map. Make it a close quarters, kind of like a favela map where glass isn't that great or that useful. Now, I realize that most people would try and somehow use glass and abuse the fact that he has a thermal scope, but you forget that I would I really like this map to be super tight, super close quarters, so the glass's incredible power of having a thermal scope is balanced with the fact that he has to go in real close quarters. Of course, all operators would have night vision, and I think it would make a pretty cool, aspect of the game we haven't seen, having a completely dark map. Now I know that they've talked about this, the developers, and they've said they have a very hard time that they can't turn off lights for some reason in the game. That's why when you shoot a light, it flickers and it doesn't just go out because they have issues with turning off lights for some reason in the game engine. Now, I don't know if this is something that could be fixed or something that can't be fixed. I hope it's something that can be fixed because I'd love to see it. But if it can't, I guess we will never actually see a night map in this game, which is kind of sad if you think about it. We'll never see any kind of maps that have any variation in nighttime, daytime. Now we do have that, the daytime, nighttime, but inside there's always light. For example, imagine for example, Chalet. Imagine Chalet completely dark, like there's no light, none whatsoever. That would be pretty sick, in my opinion. everybody running around with night vision. Someone picked a laser sight, so now you have a giant laser beam sticking out your gun. Flash grenades flash the entire room and it fills with light. It'd be pretty dope. Gunshots, they fill the room with light. Having a silencer would be so much more useful because it would dampen the light, would make you much harder to spot when shooting. I think a night map would definitely add a lot of variety and a lot of different strategies to the game. Now, the next thing, and number two, the thing that I'd like to see in Rainbow is some sort of honoring system. Currently in Rainbow, we really don't have any kind of system in which you can reward people for being good human beings in game. Now, I've thought about this for a little bit, and I think I've made a system in which you could still sort of abuse it, but I think it would be much more difficult and kind of inconvenient to try and abuse it. So this is how it would work. Well, you get into a game, right? And you play, for example, let's say it's a ranked game. You played 9 rounds, and you get 1 vote, and each person in the game gets 1 vote, right? And you can pick 1 teammate or enemy which you think played either very well, was a very nice person. It could be for anything, any reason that you like them, right? They were a nice person in chat, voice chat. They were, you know, um, they were carrying you and weren't being a dick about it. Maybe the enemy was, trying to lower the trash talk, wasn't being a dick about it. Whatever it is that you think is worth rewarding, you can reward the person for. Now, I would have it work like this, right? So you give this vote to that one person, and everybody gives a vote to whoever they think is fit, or you can not vote at all if you don't want to, if you think everybody was a piece of shit, right? And that person gets 1 honor that you voted for, and every person that's voted for gets 1 honor. Now, this is how the system would work. For every certain amount of honor that you'd get certain rewards. For example, you get the first 50 honors, you get a 7-day renown boost. For 100 honors, you get you get a gun skin. For 200, you get a skin. For 500, you get a complete skin set, right? For 600, you get some Rainbow Six credits, right? So I think it would be pretty cool to see kind of a system like this. Another thing that I'd add is that you can't reward people you are playing with, because that would be just an easy way to abuse it. Just reward your friends, right? I don't see how it could really be abused that much. I guess you could just reward always the top fragger, but I don't see that as a bad thing, right? You can just choose not to vote if everybody was kind of toxic in the game. But I think it would be a pretty cool system. And I think that amount of honor you have should be displayed next to your name, like a number, right? So that you kind of, if you're a really nice player, really kind and nice to everyone, you have, like 1,000, honor next to your name and a shit ton more renown because of it. I think it would be a pretty cool system, and I would want it to consistently always give you rewards no matter how much honor you had. For example, after you hit, let's say, 1,000, right? That's the top reward, and for top reward, you get a bunch of R6 credits, about 100,000, not 100,000, 10,000 renown, some sort of special, skin set, whatever, right? And then after every 50, you get like a renown boost, right? For a day or 7 days, however they want to make it happen. I think it would be pretty sick. They could adjust the numbers however they wanted, right? They could, make it so that it's 100 renown for your first boost, whatever, right? This would take some fine tuning, but I think it would be a pretty cool system because currently all we have is a report for toxic behavior. We don't have anything like. I've ran into multiple times people who are super nice in this game, super nice, especially when I was starting to play. I started to play around 4 months ago, and I've put around 500 hours into this game at this point. And I've met some really nice people. I've made lots of friends from this game. Hell, I'm in a whole separate Discord channel with, like 8 or 7 people who have become quite close friends because I play Rainbow with them, because they're nice people. And at the beginning, there was no way to reward them for being such nice people, right? I feel like the second we open up a little bit of options to be kind to each other, we'll definitely see a bit less toxicity because you want those rewards, so you're gonna be nicer so that you get those rewards. I don't know, it's just my opinion, but hey, what can I say? I don't think they'll ever introduce it because I don't think I don't think they're gonna actually ever introduce it. I hope they do, but I don't think we will get it because it's just why invest time in developing that when you can develop a new game mode, you can develop a new map, new operators, whatever. I don't think it would be that long of a system to develop. I don't know. I don't program, so I'm just gonna shut up and move on to the number five thing, or whatever. However this list goes, I forgot. Was I going from 1 to 5 or from 5 to 1? Fuck. Well, it doesn't fucking matter. The last thing that I'd like to see, the first thing that I mentioned, I want to see the most. Second, I want to see second most, and so on and so forth. But the last thing here, I want to see new game modes in Rainbow. Currently, we have 3 game modes in Rainbow: Hostage, Secure Area, and what's it called? Bomb. Bomb is clearly the most popular because Pro League plays on it, and after you go into Platinum and higher, you can't even find Bomb, anything but Bomb. But yeah, that's basically how it is currently. I'd like to see some new game modes. And I have a few examples here that I'd like to mention, and I'd like to hear your feedback and what you think about these game modes. Now, the first game mode I have in mind is not a game mode that would be taken seriously. It would just be a nice warm-up game mode. For example, Rainbow Six Siege with respawns. For example, you spawn into Chalet, or any map you choose, right? You click a map, and you spawn in there, and you have 5 friendlies and 5 enemies. And you just run around killing each other with a respawn time of 10 seconds, right? So you die and you have to wait 10 seconds and then you respawn. This would not be a competitive game mode. This would be kind of like casual. Your stats wouldn't count here. This would just be purely for warming up, because if I ever go for a warm up in the game, I kind of find it useless because I'll go against bots, and against bots I just can't really warm up because, like, if you go on realistic, they just have aimbot. They just instantly shoot your head and you're dead. Um, if you play it on you know any lower difficulty, they're basically potatoes, so it doesn't really give me a realistic feel. So I usually go into casual to warm up, but I don't want to go through planting and dealing with all that shit. Just let me get in there and get some headshot practice. I think it would be pretty useful to have this game mode just as an option, to kind of practice your skills and to just kind of get in there, knock out a few rounds and be done with it. The next game mode I think would actually be kind of cool is to see a game mode where we have more than 5 operators. Now you could just modify bomb with 10 and 10 operators. I think it'd be pretty cool to see how that will work out. This also wouldn't be any kind of ranked game mode or anything serious like that. It would just be something to try out. I think it'd be pretty fun. Imagine, you know, picking all the trap operators and then all 3 speeds to just have zipping around the map, right? I think it would be pretty funny. I think it'd be pretty entertaining to see. We could have maybe like, if it was 10 versus 10, you could have like 2 people with diffusers, so it would create quite a chaotic scenario. They smoke both bomb sites. So where the hell are they planting? Are they planting on both? What's going on? I think it would be pretty fun and funny to just experience. And the next game mode I'd like to see is a game mode that I think I've seen somewhere before, but I think it would be pretty interesting in Rainbow Six. So imagine this. The defending team has 1 capsule, and they have to defend this capsule for, uh, let's say, 5 minutes, right? They have to defend it for 5 minutes, and they get this capsule, and they can move it around the map anywhere they want. They can place it anywhere they want, but the enemy team always knows where they put it, right? They have like, a marker where it is, kind of like a bomb site all the time. And they have to go over there and defuse it, right? The enemy team is going to try and take over this thing that the defending team always is carrying around. I think it would be a pretty cool game mode because, you could, for example, pick any room you want to really just fortify. It would completely change up how we play the game because currently it's kind of all played around the bomb sites, how you can abuse lines of sight to bomb sites. What if you could take a, in quotation marks, a bomb site and put it, for example, in a staircase, or you could put it in, for example, in Chalet, that connector between bar and the bomb site. If you could, for example, go into Oregon and put it up top of the tower, right, and just have 5 people camping there, I think it will create a fun dynamic. This could possibly be a ranked mode if it turns out well, but I don't really know. I don't think it would promote very competitive gameplay. I think it'd still be too silly for competitive, but I think it would be pretty goddamn awesome. So this has been my list, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe. Otherwise, I'll go home and find you and rape you. But yeah, just if you enjoy these videos, I really appreciate it if you leave a like, subscribe. Just even watching my videos, I enjoy seeing that view counter going up. When I saw that my what was it called, a Quiet Place video got like, what was it, 26 views, I was kind of happy because, you know, that's my highest view video so far, which kind of implies I should maybe stop Rainbow fucking hell and I should start doing movies. But hell, I like Rainbow more than movies, so I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be coming out either tomorrow, maybe even today. I might do a double upload, who knows. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.